From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, where I've just about recovered from all the festivities of the coronation weekend. There were some street parties around my way, bunting strung up between the houses, a real sort of festival atmosphere. I have to say I'm not going to be with you next week though, as I've accepted an invitation to go riding some horses in Uganda, a country I've never been to before, so I can't wait. I will of course report back to you on the show the week after, but you'll be left in very capable hands in my absence.
Well, looking forward to hearing about that experience. Ali, Jim Maxwell here in Sydney. Winter's trying to set in here. It's a bit cool, but most of those who love the game of cricket are looking forward to the Ashes and the final at the Oval against India for Australia. But all that's to come. At the moment, we're just hanging in expectation because no one really knows what's going to happen. And that most of the time is the great allure of sport.
Hi, Jim and Ali. This is Sunil Gupta for All India Radio in New Delhi. A couple of talking points actually this week. One, of course, is the inclusion of Ishan Kishan in the World Test Championship final team in place of KL Rahul, who's injured. And there's been a lot of chatter about that, whether he's the right man and so on and so forth, being a keeper and a batsman. And I think what they're trying to do is to try and get him to play the Rishabh Pant role. But he's never played a test match before, so that's a moot point. And of course, the other one is the Asia Cup. Where is it going to be held? Is it a hybrid model? Is it going to be in one country? All these things are still up in the air and still need to be decided.
Well, pertinent that you mentioned that, Sunil, because that is where we're going to start with this week's show, because, as you say, the location of the Asia Cup 2023 is in serious doubt. Now, Pakistan are supposed to be hosting the tournament for the first time since 2008, due to take place in September. But the Secretary of the India Cricket Board, Jay Shah, who's also President of the Asian Cricket Council, has said, and I quote, "The Asia Cup 2023 will be held at a neutral venue. We can't go there and Pakistan can't come here." Now, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and the UAE have all staged the last 6 editions. India and Pakistan haven't met each other on each other's territories for over 10 years. So where does this leave the competition? Well, earlier I spoke to the chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, Mr. Najam Sethi, and I asked him to give us the latest. Is there still any hope of the Asia Cup being hosted in Pakistan?
I certainly think that there is hope. The Indian position has been that they are unable to come and play in Pakistan because their government doesn't allow them to do so, which I find very curious. But let's leave it at that. The current situation is that they want to play at a neutral venue. And we said, all right, if you can't come to Pakistan because your government is stopping you, let's have a hybrid model. Let's play 6 or 7 games in which you play in the UAE or in Sri Lanka or at any other neutral venue, mutually decided. And the rest of the games, which are just 4 or 5, can be played in Pakistan. And we have given them a schedule which is eminently workable. And we are hoping that sense prevails and that they will agree to the hybrid model that we've proposed.
I was reading a report just this morning that, for example, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh aren't necessarily happy with a hybrid model, perhaps travel and logistics being an issue if they're playing some matches in Pakistan and having to also travel to the UAE to stage matches. What's your understanding about the countries and their willingness to adopt such a model?
Well, I'm quite surprised that this idea is being floated unofficially by Sri Lanka and by Bangladesh. In the last ACC meeting, which was about a month ago, we all agreed on 2 things. We agreed that it was imperative that Pakistan play the Asia Cup. Without Pakistan, there can't be an Asia Cup. Nearly 80% of the revenues of the Asia Cup are from India-Pakistan matches, of which the way the schedule is structured, we play at least 2 of those, possibly 3 if both of us get into the finals. And Bangladesh, the only objection Bangladesh raised was that it's going to be too hot in September in the UAE, and that would be a problem. Then the other issue that they raised was question of logistics. How are we going to go to and fro from Pakistan to the neutral venue? And my argument was that let me go back and give you a proposal. The proposal that I submitted to them 3 days ago takes care of all the logistical problems. We play 4 matches in Pakistan. The teams come straight to Pakistan, and we play 4 matches there. And then everybody moves to the neutral venue, wherever that is, and we play the rest of the matches there. And I made the concession that in the event Pakistan gets into the final, we will play the final in the neutral venue, even if it is against India or against anybody else. So there's no question of going back to Pakistan to play the final. So we've bent over backwards to solve all these issues.
So it sounds like very much a negotiation to try and find a solution that everybody will be happy with. One which has been put forward, I understand, by Sri Lanka, and the Sri Lankan Secretary Mohan De Silva has been quoted as saying that they would happily stage the tournament in Sri Lanka with Pakistan being the official hosts. He says if the offer is there to play the tournament in Sri Lanka, we will take it. Pakistan will be the official hosts. Is that a solution which could at least be on the table that you would consider?
Well, I think we're confusing 2 issues. The first issue is, in principle, do you accept the hybrid model that we play some matches in Pakistan and most other matches in a neutral venue? The second issue is, once you agree on that, whether we play in Sri Lanka or in Bangladesh or in the UAE or indeed in England, that's up to the host country to decide. We are the hosts. So I'm amenable to discussing that issue as to where the neutral venue will be, because there are issues there about gate receipts and so on. If we play it in the UAE, we get a lot of money from the gate receipts. If we play it Sri Lanka, we get nothing. But formulas can be worked out whereby we are compensated. So I'm not going there right now. Right now, my main issue is make an announcement that you accept the hybrid model that I have proposed, and then we'll start talking about where we are going to play.
So you very much want some element of the Asia Cup to definitely remain in Pakistan, that being your primary aim.
That is my primary aim. My mandate given to me by the government and by the media and by the people of Pakistan is that this has to be an honorable and reciprocal arrangement. We are happy to play the Asia Cup, but it can't be that India refuses to come to Pakistan and then doesn't allow us to have even a neutral venue for some of the matches. Look, don't forget, immediately after the World Cup, after the Asia Cup, we have the World Cup. And the World Cup is going to be in India, and it's an ICC event. Now, what happens? If India doesn't come to Pakistan, or if India torpedoes my hybrid model, I don't think my government is going to allow me to go to India to play the World Cup.
You think that is a chance? There is a risk that Pakistan may be prevented from travelling to India for the World Cup at the end of this year?
Yes, that's a very distinct possibility if we do not come to any solutions right now, paving the way.
Can you tell me what is the latest by which a decision would need to be made about the hosting of the Asia Cup? How long can these negotiations go for?
The Asia Cup is supposed to be held in September. We need at least 3 months to get the preparations going and all the logistics worked out. So, and we need to reserve the venues in the UAE or Sri Lanka or wherever we decide. So I think time has already run out. The ACC has to take a decision, and we have made our position clear. I had a meeting with a high-level ACC interlocutor 2 days ago in Dubai. I gave him the new model. He liked it. He said this is eminently workable. He said he would go back to Mr. Jay Shah and talk to him. We need to resolve the first issue first, and then we'll sit across the table and decide where we are going to play, and we'll be reasonable.
International cricket has made a comeback in Pakistan in recent times, Mr. Sethi, and you have been in this role twice before, this time brought in on an interim basis in December. But are you keen to continue in this role long term, and what are your hopes? What would your plans be for the future of Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan is a highly unstable country politically, and also the cricket board can't avoid the hiccups that come with it. Next month, I should be confirmed for a 3-year term as the PCB chairman. This is an interim arrangement. If that happens, then I think I will have some long-term plans to finish off with. And one of the long-term plans is to launch a women's league. That is going to be, it's so important to me to do this. And I'm already in the process of sanctioning almost ₹1 billion to set up women academies and so on and so forth. We had a trial run where we had 7 of the top women players from across the cricketing countries come to Pakistan and play some exhibition matches during our Pakistan Super League. And that went down very well. So my next big project is to promote women's cricket in Pakistan.
You believe it could be a women's tournament that could anyway rival the sort of riches that the Women's Premier League in India has been offering?
Well, obviously, we can't compete with India. They have lots of money and they have huge audiences and so on. But, that's what people said when we launched the Pakistan Super League. They said after the IPL, how can any league in Pakistan survive? But yes, now every country has a league going, and our league is number two. And it's made us independent. In the old days, we were entirely dependent on ICC, our share of ICC funds. But now EPSL gives us enough money to promote domestic cricket, with or without this input from external sources. But of course, that's very important. So yes, I think I already have indications from a lot of investors and cricket enthusiasts about buying a women's team. We're going to have 4 teams, and even Malala Yousafzai has expressed an interest to buy one of the teams.
Mr. Sethi, thank you so much for being with us on Stumped. We appreciate your time very much.
Thank you very much.
Finally on Stumped. Now, would this be a dream trip for you? Because 2 months ago, we were joined by former cricket journalist Jenny Thompson, who told us about her plans to travel across the world to experience the impact of women's cricket in as many different countries as possible.
But really, I have to tell you, I'm most excited about where I'm going to start my tour, which is in Hong Kong. And obviously the cricket scene there is really, really burgeoning. But I'm actually going to be playing alongside the Divas, who are the Filipino domestic workers based in Hong Kong, who use their 1 day off a week to play cricket. And even more excitingly, allied to that, is we're going to be playing an exhibition T10 match to kickstart the opening ceremony of Fairbreak, which is obviously does so much great work for women through cricket. So it's really the perfect start for the tour.
And we've got Jenny Thompson with us now as well. Jenny, welcome back to Stumped. So we just heard you then 2 months ago how excited you were to be starting your journey in Hong Kong and play that exhibition match as part of the Fairbreak tournament. It involved associates and some pretty big stars as well. So how was that to start with?
Ali, it was absolutely fantastic. It was something like a dream. I still can't believe it happened. I was bowled to by Catherine Sciver-Brunt. I bowled to Phoebe Litchfield, Sophia Dunkley. I hit a 4 off Sana Mia. It was just one of those really surreal but brilliant matches. But, although I had literally just met the Divas that weekend, already they'd become my friends. And I was so happy to step onto the field alongside them. And we all just had such a great day. And I was trying to interview everybody afterwards to ask how they all found it. And we all just said, well, we're speechless. We couldn't speak about it for a long time, just because it was really amazing.
Jenny, Jim Maxwell for the ABC in Sydney. Tell us about some of the people that you've met.
Well, I had the best start at Fairbreak, of course. That World 11, they were named the All-Stars, and that certainly was not, false advertising. Each and every one of them was a world star. There were many World Cup winners in between them. I trained with the Singapore team. I obviously was playing alongside the Philippines team, who are just in Cambodia right now. They've just won their silver medal in the sixes. Indonesia won that competition, and they're playing for gold in the T10 in a few weeks. Actually, for me, it's seeing the passion in all of the associate countries. There are some people doing extraordinary things. I went to South Korea and I went into a school, Kawan Elementary School, and there were all these girls and boys, hundreds, playing cricket and just absolutely having a ball. And it's just this huge passion and love for the game across the countries. I was talking in Japan. I played a match in Kawasaki for the Kawasaki Knight Riders, a different KKR. And one of the players there, called Jeanette, she's from Atlanta, and she said she absolutely loves cricket much more so than baseball or softball because you can hit 360. So, it's lovely to go around and see how and why cricket is becoming everybody's favorite sport in unexpected countries. And that's what I was hoping to see, and I've seen it. It's brilliant.
What's the big highlight? What is the one that you'd say, okay, this is the one I'll kick the book off with, that type of thing?
I just got back from Papua New Guinea, and I managed to play cricket in the iconic village, Hanua Bada. Hanua meaning village and Bada meaning big. But Hanua Bada is also known as Golden Village because it's the place where kids grow up playing street cricket from dawn to dusk in the summer holidays, and 50% of the men's national team are from Hanua Bada and 90% of the women. And it's just incredible. I went to the village. I spoke to Kaya, the captain's mother, Bonnie. She was the first wicketkeeper for PNG, and she told me how she'd love to play and just be very aggressive, and they thrashed Japan, and she got very animated when she was recalling this from 2006. And then she said, oh, but these days I have to look after Kaya's children and be a grandma, so I'm a lot calmer now. And I'm not sure if she is, but there's 7 mothers in the PNG team, and just as well as playing in the village, and it was a real privilege to be invited into a village full stop, but particularly this one that I'd heard so much about. On top of that, just talking with the women about their lives, and they have to train 5 days a week, but they also have to look after the children. Often there are 20 people living in their house, and culturally in PNG, as women, they have to do all the housework on top of everything. I said, I don't know how you do it. They said, sometimes we don't. We do complain. I said, that's only natural. They said, we're the first up, the last to sleep, and sometimes we do come home after training and just, say it's too much and we need to lie down. These women are fabulous. They have the absolute balance right. I don't know how they do their life balance, but they have the approach to cricket right because they love cricket. And, it really, puts everything into perspective, I think, when you consider what a day in the life for a professional PNG female player is.
Good luck for the rest of your trip, and I'm sure we're going to drop in to catch up with you again. So thanks for updating us on Stumped.
Thanks, Ali. Thanks, everyone.
Well, that was all we've got time for on Stumped this week. So my thanks to Jim Maxwell and to Sunil Gupta. Make sure you join us again next time. See you then. Bye-bye.